Niet alleen het weer, maar ook uw leven kan in één klap veranderen. De natuur hebben wij niet in de hand, maar de schade wel. Warsasco staat voor u klaar.
Je handen goed reinigen doe je met Saloon vloeibare handzeep. Saloon vloeibare handzeep is dermatologisch getest, veroorzaakt geen allergische reacties en bevat natuurlijke, actieve ingrediënten voor op en top reiniging. Saloon vloeibare handzeep is te verkrijgen in verschillende overheerlijke geuren. Probeer ook Saloon antibacterial handzeep voor optimale bescherming. Saloon vloeibare handzeep voor goed gereinigde handen.
BKT Tires, toonaangevend op het gebied van off-highway tires en requirements. Nu verkrijgbaar bij Raji NV. BKT Tires fabriceert banden voor allerlei terreinvoertuigen en zwaar materieel. Van tractor tot gigantische earthmover banden ten behoeve van mijnbouw, bosbouw en andere industrie. De Agrimax en Agrimax Force zijn niet voor niets populaire banden in de landbouw voor eenvoudige tractoren tot en met de modernste high-tech landbouwmachines. BKT Tires produceert ook voor equipment voor rollend materieel in havens. Deze banden zijn gemaakt om te presteren onder extreme en uiteenlopende uitdagende omstandigheden. Met een grote smile gaan we de toekomst tegemoet. We boeken succes en rollen vooruit met BKT Tires. Wat Raji NV op dit gebied niet in voorraad heeft, kan direct worden besteld. Uw BKT Tires distributeur in Suriname is Raji NV, RP Barostraat 14 tot 16 Nikeri en in Paramaribo, Warsha NV, Korteweg 212-214. Een goede grondbewerking en oogst met maximale opbrengsten is waar elke reisboer, klein of groot, naar streeft. Tumozan-tractoren zijn daarvoor de ideale werkpaarden. Deze oersterke machines komen van de Tumozan-fabriek, die zich jarenlang gespecialiseerd heeft in zeer krachtige dieselmotoren voor treinen en in andere zware duw- en trekmachines. Dit in samenwerking met Fiat, Daimler-Benz en Mitsubishi. Tumozan, 100% Fiat-technologie, heeft met deze kennis en ervaring een variatie aan modellen van 55 HP tot 125 HP tractoren ontwikkeld die tot de top in de wereld behoren. Tumozan-tractoren garanderen kracht, duurzaamheid en zijn zeer zuinig in verbruik. Kortom, de slimme investering voor elke landbouwer. Onderdelen en after-sale service gegarandeerd. Voor informatie en bestellingen maak vandaag nog contact met ons. Tumozan tractoren agent en distributeur in Suriname is Raji NV, RP Barostraat 14 tot 16 Nikeri en in Paramaribo, Warsha NV, Korteweg 212-214.
Jan, Evert, ja. Op naar Batavia. Direct met die boot. Ginjal.
Lagi kita cover tu. Lain omenin minggu tim dulu semua payah.
Mau gila apa mah?
Tangan luang.
Jan is op zoek naar stopcontact.
Ja, ik heb nog een oplader.
Avondtijd is binnen.
Ja.
Even gaat het schoonmaken.
Ja, schoonmaken, ja. Maar even roken straks.
Roken?
Ja.
Oh, ik ben benieuwd.
Lekker saté!
Hij is krabbenmaker.
Geen tanden, maar wel de garnalen.
Ik heb geen tanden, maar ik saté garnalen.
Ja, 4 kilometer van huis. Kan ook tegen zitten. Het is niet gelukt om mijn slaapzak om mijn hangmat opgetuigd te krijgen. Met klamboe. Ziet er een beetje uit alsof het niet zo hoort, maar het zal wel.
Jij moet er daar zijn toch, als ze maken.
Ja! Nu is het donker.
Nee, jij moet er daar zijn toch.
De vis ligt nog te roken hier.
Dat die mensen gaan kijken toch, die juffrouw. Die...
Ja, Joe, goed?
Ja!
Ja?
Ampun!
Ja.
Ya, pitih kan tegan anu lu dah.
Lari loh. Lari zo.
Wacht weer even. Kampement komt in zijn leven. Zijn vriendje zit bedelen. Kunnen we weer, Jan?
We kunnen weer.
Oké. Deze flessen markeren de netten.
Als je niet lekker bent.
Ja?
Wel gelukkig.
Net binnengehaald. Vis is gerookt. Gaan we een leuk boottochtje maken, Gert-Jan, zometeen? Avond is gevallen over ons kamp. Strand op een modderbank. Een grove bos dat overgaat in modder. We kunnen niet verder langs de kustlijn. Dus weer terug naar het kamp. Midden in de nacht. Lijkt wel of we aan het watlopen zijn geweest. Het is nacht en we gaan op pad. En we nemen mee een buitenboordmotor die niet start. Hoe komen we ooit terug midden in de nacht uit het moeras? Oké, nu varen we dus door het moeras in het stikdonker. Een heel klein lampje voor ons. De snelheid van 20, 25 km per uur. En ik zit helemaal voorop. Goed, het zal wel goed komen, denk ik. Ja. Om ons heen springt de vis. Dat is wat je hoort. Weer een ochtend verder. Langzaam afbreken.
Volgende keer moet Frits alles opruimen. Niet zo.
Duwen! Ja! Even met 2 handen maar. Beetje topzwaar. Oké. Party is weer in de bewoonde wereld. Kunnen we roken en drinken? Even tijd gekookt voor ons. Zometeen nog 1 keer de rivier over. Zijn we weer aan wal. Het laatste stukje terug. Paal, paal. Oké. Gearriveerd.
This is SSL Family Dad with Simple Suburban Living, and today we are just going to do a quick update on the aquaponics system and also talk a little bit about how the tomato clones, or what I like to call the clone army, has been doing. And so if you haven't seen the past video, I'll link over to that here on the left side of the screen. And basically I just have been clipping these tomato plants since they have been just growing so wild in here. I've had to clip them off all the time. You can see when it's focus here, they kind of shoot up alongside the lights and they'll grow up into the windows, and I've actually ordered some dwarf tomato plants to try to see how they'll grow in here a little better. But basically I've taken clippings from these tomato plants and I've been rooting them. I have not been doing it all anymore just because it's getting a little bit too late in the season, but I rooted quite a few of them, or cloned them as it's called, and I wanted to just kind of give an update on how the clones have been doing coming out of the aquaponics system versus the plants that we started inside and then transplanted out. So, but as far as the aquaponics system's been going, it's doing great. The green peppers are getting pretty large. There's a couple more up here and some little ones growing all over the place. I think there's another couple in the back there. The little cherry tomatoes have been growing good, and we've been eating those here and there. They're really good. I cut back a lot of these other tomato plants, just cut them way down. I just got sick of chopping branches out every day. Peas are doing real well still in the back there, and all the stuff that I transplanted over into the new grow media here is doing great. And this grow media seems to be working really well. I haven't tested the pH in a little while, but I still have all the other grow beds full of that old river rock, which is causing the pH issues. So, but anyway, we will kind of move over here. I also got a new timer for the lights, which has been a huge help. That's saving me a lot of energy because I would always forget and leave the lights on for many extra hours a day that they didn't need to be. So I have them running right now, I believe, 10 hours a day. So fish have been doing good, and the swirl filter or radial flow filter has been working great, and I've been using the waste out of this for my square foot gardens and the gardens outside. Still have a little fish in there who's hanging out, and but everything's been going really well with that. So, but I'll take you outside and just show you some of the plants that we cloned, the tomato clippings that are cloned out in the garden, and the difference between those plants versus the ones that we just planted. We actually started them inside and transplanted them outside around the same time. So I'll show you those now. Alright, so we've got a little set area here around our stairs coming out of the back door where we had some extra space. So we made a couple little garden beds here. I just decided to throw in some tomatoes and some sunflowers along the back wall there. This is where I was putting a few of the clones, and then we also had some tomato plants that we started inside. Now the first clone that I planted is this big one back here. It's a pretty good sized plant. I'd say it's about 5 feet tall. So, and it is just absolutely loaded with tomatoes. As you can see in here, I mean, there's a lot of tomatoes on here. Now this is a cherry tomato, I believe, and I did have quite a few different varieties. I think I had 4 different varieties that I had planted in here. So, and these smaller ones here were ones that we started from seedling. Now this one's growing real well, and we started this inside and planted it out here at the same time. Same with, there's another tomato plant here in the back. This was started inside and planted out here at the same time as that one. This one here, I don't know why it's not growing very well. It was another one we started from a real tiny little seedling there that we started inside and moved out when the weather got warm enough. But as you can see, I mean, these were planted within a week of each other. All of these were planted right here in the same week, and this one here is just gigantic. That was started from a clone from one of the plants downstairs. So when I planted it, it already had flowers and tomatoes starting on it, and it just took off from there. I also have been watering all of these with water from the aquaponics. So any water I take out of the swirl filter, I dump out here for various plants that we have. This is another clone here that actually got put out a couple weeks later. It's doing pretty well, but it's a little bit slower than the rest. This one here was also a clone, and it's pretty tall here as well. And as you can see, we're just using mostly sticks for tomato cages. We have an actual tomato cage here that we bought, and then for the most part we're using just some large sticks that have a few forks and branches on them to hold the tomato plants up, and that's been working great. So rather than buying a bunch of tomato cages here. A couple of the tomato plants in the back there, those were again planted from seedlings, and they don't even have any flowers on them yet. So everything that we've planted from clones has just been, 2 to 3 times bigger and faster growing than the rest. So I'll show you another example here. Now all these tomatoes that I have planted, and we just have this extra patch along a fence here that we turned into a little garden bed this year for some fruiting trees and bushes and that, grapes and raspberries and blackberries. I guess no trees, but this year we had a lot of extra space because those are new plants. They haven't grown up very much, so we stuck a bunch of tomatoes in here. And again, I stuck all these from clones. This one here in particular, this one's already got a whole set of tomatoes that's probably going to be turning ripe here in the next week or two. I counted, I think, 38 tomatoes on this plant that have either already started or just about to start from a flower cluster, like up here. And again, this was started from a clone. It's just way ahead of the rest of our plants. This one here was a clone as well, and as you can see, just loaded with tomatoes. And we're about mid-July now here in Michigan, with a pretty short growing season, so we only have about till about September 1st before it'll start getting cool, and throughout September we'll start to get freezing temperatures. So these are all clones here, and these are successively planted. I clipped, this was like 1 week, another week, a week later, and a week later. So that's obviously been in here the longest, but all from clones. And every single one of these plants is way ahead of what we planted from seed or started from seedling and moved out here. So it's just goes to show you how quickly or how much just that little head start makes, especially if you live up in the north, Canada, Michigan, any of the northern states, where you don't have a long growing season. Starting your plants from clones, or just getting them a head start inside even, makes a huge difference. And over here in the square foot gardens, these were all planted at the same time. These were started from seedlings inside and planted out here, and you can see these ones are just tiny. Now this square foot garden, we realized we needed to compost a little bit better, I think, and we'll kind of amend that next year, but you can still see the difference. And again, these tomato plants here were started at the same time as seedlings. Now the clones were taller, of course, when they came out, but they were all planted at the same time. So the cloning out of the aquaponics system has just been an excellent resource, and next year I'm going to use it even more. I'm going to practice cloning some other plants as well, but I'm going to plant one of each variety of tomato plant that I want in January, and then I'll just start taking cuttings and start cloning all those and getting them started inside as they get larger, and I'll have a whole garden ready to go out here as soon as the frost breaks, so we can get a huge season out of tomatoes next year. So I definitely recommend it. So I'll just do a quick blip on the square foot gardens here since I'm out here. My wife will be doing an update on this and how well it's been going. We weren't real impressed off the bat with this, but the great thing about this has been we have not had to weed it almost at all, which has been awesome. Some things have grown really well in it, some things have not quite grown very well. The peas here, these things are just so good, and it's just loaded with peas. The corn's doing really well, and I've been watering this with aquaponics water, and the corn seems to be taking to that real well. We've got some zucchini and some pumpkins and cucumbers in here, and some beans and other things, and some bugs have gotten, let me get out of the shadow here. Some bugs have gotten this, but it still seems to be growing okay. This one seems to be a little better. But, you know, there's a few weeds growing in through here and there, but very, very little. And it's been very low maintenance. It retains water really well, and so very, very cool idea. The raised beds have been doing great. I'll put a few links at the end of this video over to my wife's videos on the square foot gardening, and also my video on building the little raised beds here. And I'll also link over to the video about pollinating plants, as well as how to clone, how to take cuttings from the tomato plants and you know, get those to root. I will say this, having done this now for a few months, that the method I'm using without using the rooting gel or the cloning gel, whatever you call it, the rooting hormone, I'm just doing straight cuttings into dirt. It has about a 50 to 70% success rate. Some plants make it, some plants don't, but the great thing is that I have no shortage of tomato cuttings. So I'll leave you with that. Hopefully you found this informational and helpful. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see updates on the aquaponics system, and I'll have some more informational videos on how-tos on aquaponics and things coming up, as well as other sustainable projects and ideas and things that we're doing here around the suburban homestead. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.
Bye.